Give me 4 minutes and I'll make you insanely good at sales. Hey, what's up? My name is Mesha Kiprop. I am an entrepreneur and an investor, and recently I got into sales. Over the period that I've been in business, I've been able to learn key ways on how one can be able to increase his sales and become incredibly and shocking good at sales. And just give me 4 minutes and I'll teach you how. So the first step in any sales negotiation is prospecting. And this is highly the most difficult and the most gruesome part in sales process. Through statistics, it has been proven that most sales negotiation don't go past the prospect stage. And this shows how then it is very critical in being able to get it right at the first time. So prospecting isn't really that hard as people might want to put it or think. It is just has to do with the prospect and your approach to it. And I think the best way to be able to come across this is by nailing down on the basics. These include things like your hygiene, your emotions or your mood, and just your first impression when you're approaching a prospect. That will highly determine if you can be able to make the prospect want to hear more and proceed to the next step. The second step in a sales negotiation is building the rapport. And this is where you need to be able to make the customer or the prospect feel like you are his or her friend. So here you need to be able to talk about things that are common to the prospect and he or she can be able to relate to. These include things like weather, maybe the type of clothes he or she is wearing, the things that are naked to the visible eye and can be able to act as a conversation starter. The third step is now getting in on the details. This is where you now start to identify the needs of that particular person. By doing this, you're able to show the prospect of certain needs and certain areas that he may want to be able to improve. Identifying needs is where you showcase to the prospect that he or she might need your product and how it can help her. You don't directly mention the product that you're selling, but you first start with the problem he or she has and work your way up towards how you can solve it. The next step is a follow-up from the previous one. This is presenting your product, and also it's like a pitch of your product and your services. This isn't the hardest part because you are basically talking about your product. You are explaining how it is able to solve his or her problems and in which way and manner she can be able to eradicate those problems by purchasing a product or your services. The following step is kind of an answer to the prospect from how they will answer you. And this is basically answering objections. In many sales negotiation, the prospect will come up with an objection. Either they don't have time, they don't have the budget, and all other sorts of objections. But as a salesperson, you need to be able to learn how to overcome these objections and continue with the sales negotiation. Because if you don't do that, then you lose a customer. And you can be able to do this easily through identifying very niche and very nuanced details that will convince the customer of one, the price, the products, how unique it is. And by answering objections, you go to the details, the minute things that will be able to differentiate you from other things and other products. And the following step is a very key step because it's closing down on the sale. This is where you get the customer to be able to pay for that product or that service. This will often not be that hard because you'll have overcome all the challenges and all the obstacles that were holding them back. Hence, this is mostly just a process or something like a ripple effect of how you've been able to do all the previous work. And the final and the often very big part is getting resales and referrals, because if that customer is very satisfied with your product and your service, he or she will likely get to talk about it with her friends, her colleagues at work, and be able to mention your company in there. So this is very important because he or she is acting like a marketing agent for your product and your services. So being able to get to this point, it means that you've been able to master all the steps from the first one to the last one. And this one comes as an automatic, or it comes free if you've been able to do a really good job. So with those 7 steps, you can be able to become a very great salesman and grow your company, your business to heights you've never reached before. So make sure you subscribe, you like, and you leave a comment so that you cannot miss other valuable stuff that we share here. Thank you and have a great day.